Today I want to talk about something that I see quite often, especially in Facebook groups. Now this is something that I personally get so ticked off about, not because it affects me as much as I worry about what it does to new collectors. And Nick and I, we've talked several times about we try to cater as much as we can to the new collector, because without new collectors, this hobby dies. So we definitely need to make sure that we are bringing in and kind of nurturing these new collectors. So I see all the time people bringing up on Facebook eBay sales of facsimiles and reprints. Now this is something that can be a touchy subject with some folks, and some people might get a little upset about this video. And if this video upsets you, well, you're probably the one doing it. So, and if you're one of those people that does this, I really have no sympathy for you if your feelings do get hurt. Trying to pass off facsimiles and reprints as the real deal, as a first print of a major key, and doing it in a way where technically you're not saying that this is a first print or the original printing, but when you're doing everything in your power to make it seem like it is without actually saying it, you're still doing the same thing. Like putting in an eBay sales post, a facsimile, a reprint. If you're not sure what a facsimile is, it's a reprinting. I've got a lot of them on my spinner rack here. I use the facsimiles to put on the spinner rack. That way it kind of gives it that feel, that vibe of like old books sitting on the spinner rack. But there are people out there that will put up a for sale posting, and it'll say CGC ready, really high grade, first appearance of so-and-so. And that's all they'll say, stuff like that. Nowhere do they say it's a reprint, it's a facsimile, it's not the original. None of that's ever said. And if it is said, it's in the description about 3 miles down, below all whatever other bull crap they're trying to spew. That way, if something is said and a case is brought up on eBay, they can go back and say, oh no, I put it in there. Yeah, real nice, real nice. Now, a seasoned collector, yeah, we're gonna be able to tell the difference. We know the difference. But when you get new collectors in here who are just excited about comic books, and they think that, oh man, I'm gonna get a deal on this book, but you're still spending $300-400 for a reprint thinking you're getting a deal because you don't really know any better. You know, I know it happened to me one time. I almost paid like $250 for a giant size X-Men facsimile. I didn't know the difference. I was literally like less than 3 months into comic book collecting, and I decided after really, finding out about different keys in the X-Men run, because I was getting into X-Men, I really wanted that book. So I just I put in eBay, giant size X-Men. And I saw what I thought was gonna be a good deal. And the book wasn't even near mint. Luckily, my little brother, Nick, had been collecting a little while longer than me, and he knew right away it was a reprint, and he saved me from myself. I'm telling you right now, had I purchased that book, I would have wanted to get my hands on that person's neck and just squeeze it and squeeze it until nothing else could ever come through there. Now that may sound like outrageous. Dude, you have some issues? I do, but I feel the same way when I see people do it on eBay and I see people paying for these things. Guys, it is insane. And the bad part is people a lot of times don't know. And I hear all the time, well, there's ways you can tell, and if you can't tell, that's not my responsibility to make sure you know that it's not a reprint or a facsimile. Yeah, sure, I guess dirtbag, it's not, but it really is making our community, our hobby look really bad when you're screwing people over to try to make some money off of facsimiles. And I hear the other side of it is, well, it's not my problem because, it's just all it is flippers and blah, blah, blah. And, if a flipper gets got, well, then good for that. That's what they deserve. What? This is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard in my life. Just don't be a dirtbag. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to, because they're making these facsimiles look close now. They're making them look really close. So here we have Wolverine issue number 1. Now this is the real deal. Now hopefully the glare's not getting it too bad, but this is the real deal. Now we have the facsimile. Facsimile, real deal. Facsimile, real deal. Now, if I just like this, they look exactly the same. For someone who's just getting into comic books, they look exactly the same. The back cover even looks the same. The interior is all the same. I mean, yes, we know the material it's made from is different. We know that the price point up in the corners, that's different. We know that the barcode here on the bottom is different. Even for a regular, even for the real deal to have a newsstand, it's gonna have a different barcode. We know that as seasoned collectors. But when you get new collectors in, and this is not even me really talking about this to protect the people that are getting in the hobby to flip and this, that, and the other. You know what? It's still a trash move, but at the same time, those people are probably not in it for the long haul anyway. I'm talking about the kid that just got into comic books and got really excited about them and wants to start purchasing keys or wants to purchase the first big book of the character that they've really gotten into recently, and they end up with a friggin' $300 facsimile because you want to be a dirtbag. That just it makes me so upset. It makes me so mad. I cannot stand it. And to get on Facebook and read these people's comments, well, that's what they get for not doing their research. That's what they get, huh? All right. Well, you know what? You know, to me, it's the equivalent of stealing. Honestly, it is. Like I feel like it's highway robbery, and for you to say that's what they get because they enjoy comics and they enjoy a certain character so much, they want to go buy a big key that has to do with that character, but because they don't know enough about this hobby, that's what they get. I could just slap somebody every time I hear that said. It just drives me nuts, and I don't get it. I don't understand how you can say that's what they get. You know, we should be reaching out to these people and helping them. We should be helping these new collectors along, and you know, that's the complete opposite. That something like that is going to drive collectors away in droves. Because they're going to come in and say, oh man, these comic book people, not going to get into that. They're just a bunch of crooks. And that's what you come off as. It's what you come off as, plain and simple. It's no different than you trying to sell somebody a car that's going to run long enough to get it off the lot, and then it break down on them. Yeah, well, that's what they get. They weren't smart enough to know how that car operates, and you know, they weren't smart enough to know that the car was, you know, rigged up to last for a couple of hours. Then that's what they get. Yeah, okay. Yeah, till it happens to you. All right, till it happens to you. Then you don't feel the same, I guess. But I want people to understand that it's definitely not okay. And I don't care how you word your descriptions. I don't care how you word your listings. If you're not putting in that listing in big print for everybody to see that this is a reprint, this is a facsimile, because honestly, in my eyes, a facsimile does not count as a first appearance. There done been 400 printings. The first print is the first appearance, and that's just how I feel. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I don't consider a facsimile of a book that was printed 30, 40 years ago to be the first appearance. That actually should read the reprinting of the first appearance of Spider-Man, or Hulk 180 is the reprinting of the first appearance of Wolverine. Don't you just put in there the first appearance. That's so crooked. That is so crooked. I mean, I could just I get so upset. I get so mad thinking about it. It just because it happens all the time. And you know, New Mutants 98, that one seems to be one that happens more often than none. And for some reason, I've seen that one more than any of them. And I think it's because Deadpool was a movie that reached so many people, such a broad audience, that people just loved the character so much, and they wanted to get that first appearance. But that's what they get because you haven't been collecting comics for 30 years and you don't know it all, so that's what you get. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're watching this video and you're a new collector and you're having issues determining if what you're looking at is the real deal as far as a reprint or a first print or a second print or whatever it be, because when you get into certain things, you get into second prints and third prints and it's hard to tell. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 1 is definitely one of those. I was actually at a ComiKon recently and a guy had a third print TMNT number 1 and had no idea how to tell the difference. So I explained it to him, and it can be little tiny details on those covers. TMNT number 2, the smallest, tiniest little detail in the bottom left-hand corner on the front cover will tell you if it's a first print or a second print. So it can be little minute things that determine what printing it is. A lot of times you can open up that front cover and see, but all the time you're not gonna be able to do that because sometimes you are buying on eBay. So if you have any questions about this, you're a new collector and you're not sure, please reach out to us on Instagram, or you can send us an email and we would love to help you out and do our very best to make sure that you know what it is you're buying before you commit to making that purchase, because that's what we are here to do, is help new collectors along as we grow as collectors as well. So just wanted to get that out there. Just wanted to get that off my chest. I thought I would feel better, but now I just feel angry, but it's okay. It's all right. It's gonna be okay because hopefully people will kind of jump on board and we'll be able to help each other and help these new collectors and keep this from happening more than it should. So drop me a comment, guys. Let me know where you stand on this subject. Do you think that it's the person's fault if they don't know what they're looking at, or do you agree that it's definitely deceptive to list things the way that you do and never mention that it's a reprint? Just to try to see if you can get someone to overpay for something and not even ever flinch, not even ever worry about it. Do you agree or disagree? I'd love to hear the comments on that. If you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't. We try to drop content every single day. Every week we have our Comic Book Babble-on live, and it's going to be on Friday one week, Saturday the next week. So make sure you check with us and keep an eye on the YouTube to make sure that you know which week we're doing Friday and which week we're doing Saturday. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, collect your way.